And the agenda, we will call our meeting to order. First item will be a National Grid poll hearing. Approve meeting minutes from prior meetings, a fire station temporary repair, adoption of a housing production plan, regional economic development group, items not reasonably anticipated by the chair. And after that, we are going to have an executive session regarding a personnel matter. There are two, both are regarding the same issue though, right?
One meeting, executive session meeting minutes.
Right, oh, okay.
One's for minutes, one's.
I'm sorry, I thought they were, I was reading, I thought they were both the same. Okay, with that being said, National Grid poll hearing, we'll open the hearing for National Grid.
Is that you?
Yep.
Okay.
Howdy. We have these Dear John letters. To whom it may concern. You want to walk us through this?
There two for this meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
One's for Mill Street. Start with Mill Street.
So Mill Street, there's a new house going up. I believe their address is gonna be 75. They are, the pole in the public right of way is to support the line going down their driveway. It's just easier and safer for our crews to have this pole, as a part of the installation for their service to that house.
So you're gonna be removing pole number 9?
No?
No.
So, all right, there are 5.
This is Mill Street, correct?
Yeah.
So there are 5 existing poles identified, 9, pole 9. And then 10.
No, he's looking for P9-1, and that's coded to that, which means they're looking for just that one pole.
Yes.
What's this?
I believe that just showed the existing on the drawing.
P9 and P10 are
And it
existing
shows
poles.
one pole going down their driveway. There's more than one pole on their driveway, I just didn't.
I'm confused. Yeah.
It's been a minute for me.
I see 5 poles here. There's one here. There's one here, and there's one here. And you're
Existing.
adding-
This is
Exactly.
private property. This is the new one in the public right of way.
Okay, so is this,
It's to support the line, going up their driveway.
so this one is not being removed
Not
and
being removed,
reconfiguring?
yeah.
Okay,
It's remaining.
got it. Thank you.
So are you
There's a
asking,
lot of poles there.
are you asking for us to approve pole 9-1?
And he's asking us to.
Pole 9-84.
The one in the rear
Yes.
of that.
Yeah,
So 9-1 is on private property.
correct.
Yes, 9-1 is on private property.
So you need the Board of Selectmen to approve a pole that's been set on a private lot?
Pole 9-84
The one in the
across the
rear.
street from pole 9.
This one,
So 984 is gonna be tagged on the opposite side of where your line currently is, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is to support the line going down their driveway.
so it's gonna connect to this existing pole and then continue to that.
There will be no electric fixtures on this pole. This pole is purely for structure, intention in the line.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna do some trade talking here with you, all right? Pole 9 has the feeder on it that runs down the street.
Yes.
Pole 9-84 is across from pole 9. I don't understand why you'd run that circuit over there and then send it back over to the
Not, it's
lot.
just
There's
a
no
support.
electric on that pole.
It's just a
purely
support.
for
Okay, so that is just gonna be a dog to hold up pole 9.
Pole 9-, yes, pole
So
9.
there's a guy wire connecting to this.
Yes, exactly.
All right, I got it.
Apologies for that.
And
It's
so,
been a minute since
no,
I've
it's, I mean, it's clear if you've written the drawing, but, so, this decision they're asking us for tonight is for pole 9-84.
Correct.
Okay, and pole 9-1 belongs to whoever the occupier is of 75 mil.
That is correct, yes.
And this process tonight is not, if you need an easement from them, you gotta go see them.
We already obtained an easement.
Okay. All right. And what's the other one we got?
There's a lot of poles in one area.
Is it normal that there'd be that many poles in such a short amount of space?
So that one, it's a tricky corner for us, for the
Okay.
line and everything, so that we shorten the spans, so the poles don't need as much. Because the shorter the span is, the less tension there is on the actual pole.
Okay.
So it's a tricky corner, but they are spaced out at about 150 feet there, even though the drawing's not really to scale.
Okay. Is there any value? Like, I know it's more underground, but was that a consideration at all?
It was a consideration for the homeowner, the occupant at 75, it was a consideration. It was too costly for them to.
Okay. And it's the homeowner or the builder's responsibility, correct?
Yes.
Just a lot of poles. I wish it wasn't as many, it just looks kind of, and then it's maintenance down the road, when they're underground, it's less maintenance, I guess, in my opinion. But it is what it
Well,
is.
when you run underground, you gotta take communications conduits and run them with it. And it gets to be sticky, a lot of money.
But do it once, do it right? Like, underground is the
You
preferred.
could, you absolutely could, but it's, right now, they're gonna pay for that cost of that construction. When it goes underground, the homeowner's gonna pay for that cost of construction.
Yeah.
So that's just looking at dollars and they're going,
Yeah.
paying for that. I get it. And then the other pole
Westford Street.
that you have is pole 19-5,
Is this Westwood
Westford
Road?
Street.
Westford Street.
So this one was flagged to us by the resident at 265, I believe. What? Sorry, the 265, he noticed that, he reported to us that, Verizon or with other communications lure on the pole kept getting snagged by, oncoming, tractor trailer traffic or, any box truck traffic. This is just to bring the line up.
So, because the span between P19 and pole 20 is 215 feet. That's a long run between a couple of poles.
We usually like to keep it at about 150.
Yeah. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve both pole locations on Mill Street and on Westford Street.
There's a motion.
There might be some questions from the audience. Yeah.
hang on a minute. I'm sorry, hang,
Yep.
I don't know the pole number, but the pole is leaning at about 15 degrees now. And it's connected to the first pole on Hillcrest Street. And one of the wires was pulled down by a truck this last spring.
Where, so you said you're at,
I'm at 39 Westford, right on the corner of Hillcrest.
okay. I'll actually take a look on my way home, and, I'll hopefully, get something in the works for that as well.
Good, because it would be good if it's straight up.
Yep, I agree.
so you're gonna resolve her issue at 39 Westford.
This is unrelated to,
It is, but
but yeah, I will generate, a request in our internal system to have a crew come out and screen. And do whatever work we need to do to keep it full.
okay, and then the only thing you wanna do is just, if you're gonna open a work order or whatever, can you let our town administrator know so we can communicate with her? And otherwise, this thing's just gonna fall off the
This is
table.
not the first time I am notified National Grid. It's about the third time.
Yeah, no, I believe it. But do you have,
All right, well, I'm gonna second the motion
Yeah.
while they're,
All right, while they're figuring that out, we had a motion, we second.
question before we,
Before it's all done here and everything, can I make a suggestion that all poles that from here on in have to be at least 4 feet from the edge of pavement?
Yeah, I don't know that you can do that, yet that's an engineering question, feet from the edge of the pavement.
Right, instead of being on the pavement, I just find it a safety issue all the way around.
we try it. We do try to. It's a case by case basis. Sometimes depending on how the line is, if we move it off, we do like to come, the goal is to do at least 3 feet from the pavement. But sometimes on case-by-case basis, it might, you might not be able to, depending on the angles and stuff.
Well, I just find it a safety issue, especially coming into town.
There are some engineering standards in that
Yeah.
book that they have that talks to that. I mean, it's been a while since I've set poles, but there is engineering criteria for that, and
I guess we can request it.
Yeah, and for these two poles, they are both, I believe West Ridge Street is 3 feet off the road. And I believe, Mill Street one is like 4 or 5.
I would like to make a request that when these sketches are prepared, that there's those little bits of detail put on them.
Yeah.
I've made this request to National Grid for many, many years too. And I mean, this is about as basic as a sketch you get. But it's a little more info like that, letting us know
Yeah.
how far off the roadway it can
It
be
is-
on these, you
yeah.
know, are there,
It is pretty, I made the sketch,
Yeah.
so I understand it. It's hard to put with the tools we have, it's hard to provide as much, get into that granular. detail.
even a note.
Yeah,
You
the
could-
poles are staked at both of these locations, so and
Yeah.
that's where they will go. But I will make notes and pass along.
Thank you.
Do you already have the hearing on the polls?
excuse me, go ahead, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Do you already have the hearings on the polls?
We're doing that right now.
Okay, I had it noticed at 5:15, so I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I mean, this is with, he's with National Grid, and so they've made a request for 2 poles, one on Mill and one on Westford. Which one are you interested in?
The Mill Street polls.
The Mill Street pole? Okay, you're welcome to speak. I mean, we've already,
I don't want to interrupt anything, I just.
you're not, no, go ahead.
What is the sub-pole that's going to be placed across the street? I don't understand why there's a pole being placed across the street from the residence of being built.
So when we do line construction, we need to have supporting fixtures in the direction of the lines going. So in this case, they're building a house at 75. And they're extending their driveway about 600 feet, 700 feet, and we're running a pole line for their house, their new house. So to do so, to accommodate that line going down their driveway, we need to support it in the opposite direction, which would be across the street.
Okay. So you're not removing any poles?
We're not removing any poles.
Okay. And there's no underground, you're not digging up the street or anything?
We're not digging up the street.
He explained it to us, it's simply a pole that is supporting that existing pole that will be being drawn into the property.
Why can't you use that pole that's there, pole 9?
So we are running, so there's gonna be, on this new pole, there'll be no electric fixtures. They'll just be, it's merely just an anchor point for us to come up.
This is the sub-pole you're talking about?
Yes, pole 9-84.
Okay,
So, yeah.
this one here?
Yep, there will be no electric fixtures on it, it's just merely to support the
The
line.
live wire, is that what's going to be?
Yes, just to go down the driveway.
So one whole pole for one house,
Sorry, what was that?
one whole new entire pole for one house?
So they're actually, on the drawing, there's only one pole on their property, but there will be at least, I believe there's 5 poles going down their driveway.
5 poles going down the driveway?
Their driveway,
One across.
and one across the street, yes.
Okay. So, all right, because on this sketch here, you don't have the pole across, the pole numbers are wrong. But there's a pole right across, I live at 82 Mill Street.
Yep.
And there's a pole right there, so that's why I was asking if you were removing any poles. This is pole 10, pole 10 is down the street. This is pole 8, this is pole 8, but pole, this is, I don't know which pole this is actually. This is why when she was talking about the sketch, that's why I was asking if you were removing any poles, because there's a pole directly across from my home, which is pole 8, which doesn't show here.
That's 9 now.
No, it's pole 8 right across from my house.
I might remember the pole drawings.
Well, you did. But that's like, that was why I was asking if you were removing any poles, because I don't see the pole in front of my
No,
house.
we're not removing.
Okay, and this pole here is only gonna be a supporting pole?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you see the stake I put?
I did,
Okay.
yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. And the other pole is starting up the driveway to that.
So, yeah, it's gonna be like 160 feet in from there, and then another one I should go so on, until we get all the way back to the house.
All right, you answered my questions.
Do you know when this is gonna start?
No. Hopefully, I would assume spitballing here, turning to weather, April, May, hopefully.
So you'll wait until their well is okay, so they can actually build the house before you start putting in?
Yeah.
Do you know where the 5 poles will run along the driveway? I might next door to that house.
Yeah, they're still doing a little log work. I was up there and I staked the pole in initially, but they're probably going over the ground, so there's a foot of snow on the ground. So I'll have to go back, but it'll be, a foot or two off of where the driveway is on. We're jumping it onto the other side of the driveway if you're facing
West side of the driveway.
Right away?
starting on the east side of the driveway, and going up to the west.
So all on the right hand side.
No, first two poles will be on the east side of the driveway, and then the next following 3 will be on the west.
Okay.
You all set? Anybody else with poll questions or issues? No? Has everything been answered satisfactorily?
Yes.
Good.
I guess the motions were made, so
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You all set?
All right, thank you.
I thought you guys were gonna stay for the meeting. I was all excited. We're actually gonna have somebody here.
You didn't have cupcakes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, still gonna get your fuel.
We have meeting minutes.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to approve December 20th and January 29th.
Second,
all in favor? Aye.
they're long ones.
Yeah, we had a lot going on those nights.
Yeah.
Well, the one from the 29th is a 3-hour meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Over here.
yeah,
And I was here, so we got extra detail, I think.
we did.
The next item is fire station temporary repairs that Jason will walk us through. I can tell you that this is in fact, a temporary repair to bring back some structural integrity to the pitched roof that is over what's known as the office area for a fire station. So, and there has been a vendor that has been out there making sketches and taking calculations, building recon services. And he has a proposal in here to put temporary repairs in place. I'm gonna wait for Jason to join us because he's gonna have a greater understanding of the specifics of this than do I. I will tell you that the report is very well detailed. And,
There are a few issues over there.
just
a couple.
Well, you want to walk us through this? Building recon, we're on item number 4. And you're looking for us to approve $9,800, I think?
Yes, so you have a report in front of you from Building Recon Services that includes both an immediate recommendation to make temporary repairs to basically shore up the building, and to stop the kind of deteriorating of the exterior walls.
The bowing out.
The bowing out of the walls, yes, exactly. And then they also provide a scope of work for more permanent repairs that are needed moving forward, which are about, I don't know, give or take $270,000 for the longer term needs of the building. That, to preface that doesn't get the building, that just is the existing building, nothing new, just making sure that it's sound, structurally sound. To do anything addition would be an additional cost to the building. But in any event, Josh Kelly was our primary contact. Like I said, $9,800 for temporary repairs. He provided a drawing of those repairs. And at the moment, I'm hoping you'll consider approving a contract in that amount with them so that we can get them started on that work. The idea at the moment is to use the same funding source we used for the evaluation, which is that $50,000 state earmark that we received for public safety improvements. And then longer term, we'll have to strategize on how best to go about it. One of the things initially before he started the work we talked about is to provide a scope of work that was, that allowed us to phase in those improvements. So he did break it down basically by law.
Yeah, he basically did a building inspection. Like, it reminds me of what you'd see in
Like a major one.
yeah, and it's, unlimited amounts of problems and questions down there more than anything else, but
yeah,
I agree with the $9,800 to at least get the ball rolling for the short term. And then I think you gotta have a deeper discussion as a board and probably a town for, sinking 6 figures into that building's kind of a tough pill to swallow, in my opinion, based on its status in this detailed report here, so.
One thing I didn't notice within it is how long can this temporary stabilization last?
I talked to Josh Kelly, the guy that did the report, and he said that we could probably get a year out of it, and they could come back out and reevaluate it, re-inspect it, and see where it's at. But we're at about a year, and then anything after that's gonna be probably a bonus, basically, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Which that's actually longer than I originally thought it was going to be. We thought maybe, and when he originally started talking, he was like, we need to be able to get this through the winter. So this is a little.
So this is not a Rourke Bridge temporary fix.
And I mean, I guess this was, I don't know if we're on this here, but in 2019, I guess that they had tried to fix this, and for whatever reason, it didn't get done, so.
It didn't get work, yeah.
No, that was before.
This has been around for
Yeah.
a long time.
It was when the truck hit, they tried to incorporate that fix, roll it in, but they couldn't do it with, because wasn't affected by the integrity of it.
Though, I mean, I'm curious to see once these support structures go in, like, whenever you do this, there's always a consequence for work that you do this, because then things shift elsewhere. So
yeah, I mean,
he sounds like he feels pretty optimistic that it'll help, but for how long?
So, yeah, but the way that it was built, I mean, it says it all, man. The way it was built, it just wasn't built right to begin with.
You can see the seams, and like, having just done a building inspection in New Hampshire, they were like, this is bad. I was like, I saw the picture here, I'm like, that's what the inspector said is bad.
Daylight through the
The
wall.
unfortunate part is that's only one part of the problem.
Yeah.
But that's just the worst part of the problem. I mean, he went as far as to tell me that he'd be worried sitting in the seat that I sit in every day. So.
Very encouraging.
Yeah. So I'd like to put in for hazard pay as well.
No, but just be sure you have your helmet on when you're in that chair, because. John?
I recall during an earlier discussion about this, I think that there's some question about whether traffic is still gonna be able to get around the building.
Yeah, because it's gonna, well, that was one idea that they had, but now it's all gonna be, this is all gonna take place inside in the attic. So there'll be nothing that's gonna be blocking that.
Okay, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, if your walls are
It wasn't
worse,
that bad, so, which is good.
if your wall's the worst, if you need to get out quick, you can just kick a hole through there and get out.
Plenty of holes I can get out of.
All right.
So my question here is he gonna comply with Mass Prevailing Wages? Yeah, he knows all that, though, right? Okay, because he did a relatively significant renovation at the church.
That's a legit, yeah.
And it was a top shelf job, I'm just saying that, he's not used to doing public work.
I talked to him about it.
Okay. $9,800, knowing prevailing wages, somewhere's around, loaded around $77 an hour for a carpenter.
I'm not sure if I have, but you may be, yeah, you may be right.
He threw that pretty quick, $9,800, so as long as he knows it. Okay,
I'll move to approve a contract with Building Recon Services in the amount of $9,800 for temporary repairs to the Dunstable Fire Station and authorize the chair to sign the contract on behalf of the board.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Beauty.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Stay safe.
Keep you safe.
No problem.
I mean, we ought to have, I know we've got a lot going on, but there's an architect in Carlisle that drew a really simple fire station for them that I can get a copy of if you want. I mean, he's a local architect out of Groton, maybe, I'm not sure, I guess he's HJK Architecture or something like that. But, you know, I know the TA in Carlisle and he's like, this is a really simple fire station. They're in a similar boat where they need one. And I think we're at that place right now.
Is this something that our fire station building committee should get resurrected for and start to
We could,
ponder?
yeah, absolutely. It just hasn't been time to push forward with that.
Understood.
But it is rapidly coming to that as the building that's there now. Not only does it have structural compromise to it, it's just generally not efficient. It was built in 1952. The guys that lived in the town got together and built a fire station. That's
Oh, it was
how
a gas station originally.
Yeah.
What was it? Is that
Yeah.
what was it?
No, it wasn't, that's bad, we found out that's bad.
Oh, I thought that was in the report,
it?
but
Yeah, it was in the reporting, and you know what it is? I did the same thing when I got here, because there's not much info on it. So when you research it, somewhere on the internet, that comes up. And then when Zibby was here, he had put it on the website, so then it ended up on our website. So then that became, I think, what you might have known, guys, I told you it was never a gas station. And that kind of just took on a life of its own, and it was an existing building.
Like everything.
It was built.
False.
The other problem is now, like I said, the trucks just keep getting bigger and bigger, and these guys have a really hard time.
Yeah.
I mean, we already seen it once, they already took out half. Even, you know,
Remember that well.
the squad truck that's in the new section, it's very tight, even to get that in there. And the next time we go to buy a truck, we might have a hard time ordering a truck, because they just get so bigger, and the
Yeah.
station's just not.
Well, just
I mean,
keep taking those doors out and, you know.
I would have thought that would have been made that way.
Just kidding.
So above that attic, there is, in the attic over the truck bay, is a piece of wood that they put up there. And the guys that worked on that fire station signed that.
Oh, did they?
It is up there before they insulated it. So I do know, and I know that that heater that was in there that they took out was used when they put it in, because it was from 1948, which predated the station. But the guys got, from what I could gather from them, is that the station got built by a bunch of guys like Amish, right? They're gonna have barn raising.
They just got together and said.
Yeah, well, it's
My
fast.
house was next door.
Sure, that's why there were no collar ties up there.
Yeah, he said something about code, like, he's like, when was it built? There was no code.
There was no code, no. No, there wasn't, so. All right,
But I do think we do need to, I mean, we have a year, which is gonna go by like that, so we do really need to figure out, okay, how are we gonna move forward? Are we gonna invest in this building long-term, and that's where we're gonna be? Or are we gonna do something different, and what is that path going to look like? Because like a year will go by very quickly.
I think we should reconvene the public safety building committee sooner than later. Even if it's
Absolutely.
Talking about what the future of this, how they, you know, give us some ideas.
You've got a great document right there to start with, to sort of prove the point that this building really needs some serious help or go a different direction, so.
I mean, we can sink endless amounts of money into this thing.
no, it's dysfunctional.
I mean, it was never supposed to be, you know, what it is now.
Yeah.
Well, we are talking about in the millions of dollars to build another.
Oh, yeah.
So we also need to be grounded in reality and how we're gonna be able to do that with everything else.
Absolutely,
With everything
right.
else going on.
We've got a lot.
And not that I don't think we need it, because I do, but, we need to do, either way, we gotta have a plan for that building, because
Yeah.
this is gonna get us through the next year, but it's not gonna get us to where we need to be when we start. So.
Well, the committee starting up again to discuss doesn't simply have to be about doing a new one, it's about what can be done with this one.
Absolutely.
All right, did we vote on this?
We did.
We're done, okay.
You have a hand up.
You have your hand up? Oh, I'm sorry. And
I'm sure I asked this question before, I apologize for not giving the answer. But, Dumont's garage, is that the plan for that, if it works out, is that going to be just highway? Is there
no, I don't think it's,
plan to put, fire trucks in there? At
Yeah.
least temporarily?
there is. You know, a bunch of us got together a few months ago and walked that garage off. And it's got a lot of potential to it, and it would certainly take the stress out of this, because the stress that we've got with the fire station is not so much building it or where to build it, it's how you're gonna pay for it. And that's been the challenge that we have. And, you know, even the metal building, because we had pricing from Morton Buildings in a metal building, insulated metal building was running around $9 million with all the site work. So the site work is water, septic, you know, grade, all that. That was a $9 million metal building. And that's, you know, we're trying to put together an override to bail the town, well, to stabilize the town right now. And so, but that Dumont garage is an option. You know, I think you were on that walkthrough. I don't think the police were, but, you know, even after the fire, the building is very repairable. It really is. There's probably maybe 10 or 12 trusses up there that gotta be stripped, and
They already took all that down.
did they? And the new doors can go in. So there is room, there's plenty of room there to put the trucks outside and do training, and, you know, and the doors are wide enough you can back them in. It has a lot of possibilities. You might remember that building and that lot, back before Brattle bought it, was up for consideration to be used for a fire station, to be built there. And
Not
there
a
was-
fire station, it was proposed to be used as the highway garage
No, we had a feasibility study done, and it is a public safety building. It was. We spent $24,000 for that design.
Study, right?
We did. It was not, it was it was a fire station. And then time goes by, and the Dumonts, you know, sold it, and here we are today. So it is a possibility, Tony, and it's probably a more cost effective. But we're still out in the distance with that a little bit. Anything else on that, anybody? Moving along, item number 5 is the adoption of the housing production plan. You want to walk us through? I've read through this morning, and I don't particularly have any issues with it. I think it's
I don't know.
well put
They
together.
may wanna.
Sure,
If you don't mind.
it was approved last night by the planning board, so that was step 1, or step 2. It's culmination of a couple of years worth of, work, mostly by, one of the Middlesex community, consortium of governments, but the housing committee, and we put a lot of effort into it also for the local pieces of it. It's an update for the one that expired a couple of years ago. It's a state mandate that we have this in place. So the Board of Housing Committee is pleased with it. We recommend you approve it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
It's very long and thick, I'd say, and there's a lot of stats in it that are both relative to the town and sometimes more the county, if you will, in terms of like affordability and general shifts in age and housing. And some of the parcels it's identified, you know, some of them are up for debate right now in terms of affordable housing and 55 plus housing, et cetera. So it's a really useful tool, I think, as we look in the future here for housing needs in town, so. Happy to read the motion if anybody.
I think it was great. It was well put together. I went through it pretty thoroughly last night and did a couple more edits and.
We'll get rid of the Tewksbury referral.
What's that?
We'll get rid of the referral to Tewksbury.
Yeah, and then there was a numbering thing in section 4 that was a little kind of funky that Jason fixed that too. Just some of the data that one particular note in there of the recommendation is for us to build 11 units every year. That thought scares me, just saying. I'm sure it's all accurate info based off of what we need to do, but I just don't see how that happens or where for that matter.
I think that was in there in the 2016 report too. I don't think it was 11, but I think it was 8.
I think it was 6 then.
Well, yeah, I was thinking 8, but 6, but obviously
Yeah.
times have changed. It's an aggressive
Keeping
idea.
in mind that also,
Yeah.
we possibly got 1 unit from the River Street projects.
Yeah.
44 behind post office, and 39 or so with the Brattle project. So we're 2/3 of the way there, if those all come.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, I'm not questioning the data or anything. It was just a number, just like for how long? How many years do we need to be doing that? So,
So you keep on doing it because
Yeah.
the more you build,
the more you build, and that's the part that is
Yeah.
just I can't grasp. But aside from that, I think it looks great. You did a good job on that. Thank you for your work. Many years of working on it.
Well, it is a bit lazy.
Yeah, that's good though.
We tried our hardest.
Yeah.
They love their data.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It might be useful, once we approve this tonight, to maybe print a couple copies and bind them and we leave them out on the table out here. Just, you never know, it's useful to have, especially as we get closer to town meetings and such. People may ask about housing production and
If you do that, Jason, I'd be thrilled.
give a busy guy more to do, so.
Well, we have this electronically, right?
Yep, we'll post.
So all
it
we
and
can
all
do
that.
is modify this from draft, right, and get rid of the draft, and then just send it out. I don't know if we send them out or we print them ourselves. I have no idea how that goes. But
Yeah, print and punch and.
you probably want them in color because the pie charts are more easily understood. Color. But I agree with that. I would just clear this up so that, and then if I didn't see the Tewksbury, the reference to Tewksbury.
It's been removed.
Yeah, I think I'll read the motion, it's a little lengthy. In accordance with 760 CMR 56-03, methods to measure progress towards local affordable housing goals, part of the Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, EOHLC, formerly the Department of Housing and Community Development, DHCD, regulations implementing the Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, Sections 20 through 23, move to adopt the town's updated housing production plan dated December 8th, 2023, and authorize the chair to sign a letter addressed to EOHLC notifying them of the board's vote and requesting their approval of the updated HPP.
I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Joan?
These guys worked very hard on this, and I think they did a great job. The problem is that, everything about the goals of all this, and it's all pushed by the state. It's all, the state thing is, to me, when I look at it, it's against everything that we're trying to do here in this town to, as far as zoning, as far as, everything that's the state wants you to, wants us to look like Nashville, wants us to look like Kingsborough and whatever. And, we don't want to do that. At least I don't think we do. And there's just so many recommendations in here. And I know that, once again, it comes from the state and it comes from NEMCOG. There's so many recommendations in here that, well, you've gotta change your zoning to accommodate, instead of 14 acres to allow stuff on 5 acres. You've gotta make all these changes, stuff that, as far as I'm concerned, we don't wanna make changes to. And I don't know, what the solution is, but except, when we stop voting for some of these nut jobs that run the government, but it's just, I don't think that this kind of stuff is doing us any favors. I said last night at the meeting, we'd be much further ahead to just, hands down, approve 41 Lowell Street. Okay? So that we don't have to go through, all the changes that they want us to go through in order to accommodate, all this housing. So, hey, my 2 cents.
Point's well taken, and it kind of partners up with what Leah was talking about just a few minutes ago, and that's all very true, and I think most of us that are here tonight would probably agree with your thinking. But, at the end of the day, it's a plan, and it doesn't mean that it's gonna be followed, it's a map, where the real estate's gonna, who's gonna build this housing, and all the rest of that goes into it. I don't know, and I don't know how you can put 11 units a year in. And, what do you, in 3 years, you have 33 units. The culture of the town is the open space environment that it's worked hard to get to. And I don't know, Joni, I absolutely, I read this morning. It's like, close to 90 pages. I read through it a couple of times, and I mean,
Some of it's painful.
yeah, it is, but it's something that's just, this thing's
Now,
gonna,
we have.
And it's required, so.
Driscoll said, grow or die.
Yeah.
he said that.
Is this
Word for word.
something that is required by the state in order for us to, get certain funding and stuff like that? See, so.
And it's only recommendations, Joe.
Right,
It doesn't say you must.
Yeah.
It just says recommendations. You can ignore it.
that's what I was saying. It's a plan, and it doesn't mean you have to follow it, but, I mean, it's out there, and,
It's similar to the plan that was put out 6 years ago, but requiring to build 6 units per year. And look what happened.
And we haven't done it yet, so.
Right, so we're on track to not. Yeah.
To not perform.
But at some point,
Consistency
somebody
is
always
really
says,
important.
well, wait a second, what about, our housing reduction plan says this, or our master plan says this? That's another scary, document.
Well, then just follow the open space plan. We'll all be happy
What's
with
that?
that one. But just follow the open space plan.
I will say this, if we shouldn't be in the habit of putting planning documents out if we don't want to follow them. Just don't do them. Like, a
And some
master
towns
plan, you're
don't.
not required to do a master plan, but we did. And so there are recommendations in there, presumably that we wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I mean, I was always taught you plan the work the plan after, once the plan's in place, then you work it to implement it. That's the workflow with, for me at least, that's like it's always been like an important, driver to kind of my work on a daily basis, really. It kind of drives my.
Few parameters.
It gives you kind of, okay, I understand what we want to achieve, we have goals and priorities, and now how are we gonna go about, accomplishing them. and
So we
implementing them.
get no benefit, from the state of having a master plan,
Not that I know of, but
no
maybe,
funding,
not that, I mean, I've worked in communities that they didn't have master plans.
Alan?
Yeah, you don't have to have a master plan. You don't have to have an open space plan, but of course you have to have the open space plan to get
The open, that's right. But the open,
funding.
that's right. Open space you need in order to secure grant funding.
We've gotten 11
Yeah.
open space grants.
But that's not the master plan.
I understand.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But the other shoe is going to drop, and that is that all of the applications that we send in for open space related stuff, the biggest one being the self-help program, which has another name now.
Land grant.
But they all want to know, what does your master plan say? We all always put in what the master plan says, which the master plan deals with a lot more stuff. And some of it may be internally self-contradictory, actually. But we make damn sure that the master plan includes the basic goals of the open space plan and vice versa. And these grant programs are point systems. And so they are interested in what the master plan says. And they are interested, I don't know exactly whether you get genuine points or whatever, but they want to know. That said, totally agree with Carol and so forth. With the master plan, discretion is the byword.
I still stand by my statement that if you have a plan in place, it should mirror what the community is trying to accomplish.
And I think the master plan pretty much does. It's fairly recent. It was new product. A lot of people were involved.
Yeah.
It talks about things. I mean, if you take a look at what has occurred since the beginning of the master plan process, which lasted over a year, the Tully Dairy Store and things of that nature, you will see that there is a genuine move in that direction. So I think that the master plan generally does reflect what the town wanted, and that is pretty much what, a rural, semi-rural, whatever, we could say, and, to some degree, we're doing.
I think it's actually hit quite a few of the points of the master plan. We've got the town center overlay district approved, we got the historic area approved, we've got, the water has been addressed, we've got some businesses in town, the Tully Dairy Store, we've got the Farmhouse Cafe, we've got the wine shop coming in, we've got the, there are little things that are starting to. Right. Oh, yeah, Wickham and Willoughby, I mean, there are all these businesses that are starting to come in.
Exactly what people were talking about
Yeah.
as what they wanted, the type of thing they wanted in the center. And we're looking for McDonald's to pay that.
So we're getting there.
McDonald's Sunday would be so good right now, though.
Oh, God.
Wouldn't that hit the spot?
Never works.
Yeah.
Little hot fudge Sunday. That would be great.
Right there in Nashville, go for it. Yep, we're good.
Item 6, Jason, this one's gonna be yours, Regional Economic Development Group.
Well, it's more mine. You were
Sure.
kind of on that with me. So this was a committee that was put together by Margaret Scarsdale and putting together an regional economic development group with representatives from each of the towns that are in her district, the First Middlesex District. And essentially what they're trying to do, and I don't know if, I'll get to my opinion later, but what they're trying to do is work as a group to try to enhance economic development for all of the towns and make this region, this First Middlesex region, sort of a destination place to go to enhance business and where's the MOU? Their goals to improve economic viability of the district, develop and promote joint projects such as infrastructure, arts and culture, increase tourism, increase housing opportunities, support current and attract new businesses, secure funding. So really they're trying to get this group effort of all the towns to sign on it, and they're looking for someone from the town to sign a completely non-binding MOU. It'll probably just be, I just read this. So the MOU defines the relationship between the partners of the first Middlesex District, would include Ashby, Townsend, Lunenburg, Groton, Pepperell, and Dunstable. And the statement of the mutual benefit is the communities, nonprofits, businesses, elected and appointed officials, and the individuals in the collaborative each have separate missions, visions, goals to which they are committed. However, in the collaborative, participants realize that each mission relies on the shared commitment, responsibility, and vision of the group. So they're trying to put together a website. They're trying to put together like a schedule of events to enhance the attractability for people. We have some things to offer. We don't have a heck of a lot, certainly compared to what they do. But I'm still interested in sort of kind of being in this just so we're not completely isolated and not being somewhat of a contributor to this, the Middlesex District. Some of the things I'm not fully, based on the conversation we just had about, the increased housing opportunities, I can't say that's high on my list. We're facing that. Granted, we have other people believe that that's the way we grow, but there are other ways to do that. We have a few businesses in town. Of course, we would love them to get the increased visibility. We have a few events that go on, the summer concerts. We've got the Strawberry Festival. We've got land trust events that happen. Jingle Fest. We've got, a lot of interesting things that are, we've got the Dunstable Theater Collaborative. They've got plays. I mean, there are things that the town offers. So that's kind of what we're doing. There's no financial obligation. They did ask for money. I told them we couldn't afford it, so they're gonna sort of foot the bill for Dunstable. And that's about it. I mean, it's been sort of interesting, and I'm feeling bad though, because every meeting that I go to, and we've been meeting once a month, and they're asking for input from Dunstable or contribution, and
You're out.
I don't have any.
Right.
So again, I'm sort of feeling like the outcast stepchild that's.
What kind of contribution, you mean money or?
Well, yeah, I already addressed the money part. We're not giving them any money. So they were looking for money to build their website for $1,200, and it's not enough.
Tell them you're a volunteer town.
The 1,200 was our portion of it.
1,200 would be our portion of developing that website. They've had some interesting speakers come in. Gobi.
Yeah, and Gobi.
Ann Gobi came and spoke to us. Representatives from the Central Chamber of Commerce was there last time. And someone from the North Middlesex Chamber of Commerce as well. I know you weren't there. Neshoba Valley Chamber of Commerce.
So are you looking for someone to jump in your place?
No, I'm happy to continue doing it. I just wanted to apprise the board as to what's been going on.
She's just communicating.
Communicating what's going on and just sort of run it by people. It doesn't have to be a select board to do this, but Margaret invited us and Jason and me to do it. So.
Whenever it's like throw a question up on like the Dunstable Facebook page, like if they have like
we're not there yet.
Questions. Yeah.
We're not really there yet. I think the group is still trying to find its mission. It's still, they're still trying to find out, still polling us to get an official name of the group. So it's very in its infancy stage. It's early days, yeah. But just wanted to let you know that's where they are.
It sounds like a good idea though. Like there could be some, especially if you time out events the right way in the summertime, or you have a bike ride through the area. I don't know. Like there's ways to.
Right. So they want to have a central, like its own website that people can go to, and we could have a link to it on each time. Everyone would have a link to it and say, oh, okay, well, what's going on in Ashby this weekend?
Or even like a calendar, right? Like sometimes calendars just to organize, track people to things.
Right. So that's all the stuff they're talking about. There are a lot of people that are very sophisticated with that sort of stuff. I am not one of them, so,
I can write them down.
yeah.
But I'm not putting them there. I like the idea. I mean, I think it's a good,
Well, you're welcome to come.
yeah, maybe the next one I'd jump in, just to hear.
There's one
more about
Friday,
the
9 AM,
Okay.
Town's in Town Hall.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where we are with that.
Cool.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Can we do that?
That's scratched off. Items not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Mr. Jason, do you have anything? I don't. Comrades?
I'm good.
I don't think so. No.
I just have one. Fire department got awarded $13,000 today.
Oh,
This
nice.
is like one of the first times I was able to get all of the, we can get up to 12.5, and I got it all this time.
Yeah, I see that. So,
We actually, you probably didn't know this, and it's like, we just got one with, we worked with Groton PD for some extra radios and some radio programming upgrades, just sold for $30,000, so it's about 40 grand we've got in the last couple of weeks, so. Then we have all the FEMA stuff coming up, so.
What's this 13,000 for? Is it specific?
equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, equipment upgrade.
We're gonna buy some firefighter rescue equipment that we're buying. And the other big one was, our vehicle extrication struts that we have, we get a car that's rolled over on its side. The stuff that we have is ancient and really doesn't, it's outdated. It's something- We're replacing that as well, so it's gonna be a huge upgrade.
Nice.
Good, excellent. Well, congrats. Good job. Keep applying for those grants.
Is there a building grant in there?
Yeah.
A whole new building, just drop it.
$11 million
You can drop a box.
coming our way. You just got to sign.
The state's looking to do what they're doing with schools now, and
Yeah.
they're hoping, that's, I mean, that's still just in the bottom.
Yeah.
But I would say that if they get that, it would be
To the top of the list.
pretty close.
A lot of the fire stations, I mean, they're in horrific shape. I mean, you go into a couple of those things in Lynn, I've gone to Lynn to get permits. There's rats in the fire station, and the guys don't complain about it. Well, I don't know how, I'd be not happy. So, okay.
Good.
And that is going to conclude the general business meeting. We are going to have 2 executive sessions for 2 different matters. And we will not be returning from executive session. So with that being said, do you have a motion there, Mr.?
Sure. Executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A,